everybody. Good evening and welcome. My name is Harun Yahya Dzulkifli with the student's number of 242122 And here I will be presenting you about the central tendency and variability measurements within my statistics in English literature research lectures. So the contents, as you may know, is talking about central tendency and variability measurements. So before we start and dive into the contents itself, let us understand what we have present within the Excel spreadsheet itself. Over here on the left side, we have the original data sets. Usually the data sets is a bit jumbled up, so as you can see, this is already organized, but for those of you who don't know how to organize this is pretty simple. What you want to do is just click the column, click the A technically, and then go over here, go to the home tab, and then find sort and filter. Now sort it from smallest to largest, and it should say continue with the current selection. Just click that and click OK, and it should organize everything all together. Now this will be important, but I will explain that later. Within the middle section, we have the table in itself. This is what we will use in order to count and everything. The equations that we will find to understand the central tendency and find out the variability measurements. So on the right side here is the table. It contains mean, median, mode, that is for the central tendency, and the variability is consistent of range, Q1, Q2, Q3, which is technically quartiles, you could say. Now Q1 is like the 1/4 of a data set, and the Q2 is the half of the data set, and the Q3 is the third of a quarter within the data sets. IQR, on the other hand, is just the range of a quartile. I think I forgot to mention about range. Range is technically the technically it's just the differences between the smallest to highest. We will find it later on as we fill in this table. So the variance is the range differences from the mean, and then the standard deviation is the square root of the variance. So to summarize this, central tendency is technically a statistical concept that describes the value around which the data tends to cluster. To put it simply, it just identifies the typical representative of a certain value data set. So for example, like mean is average, median is the middle value of the data sets. Over here we will find it together, and the mode is the frequent value that appears within the data set. So without further ado, let us start filling out the middle table. So like I said, the score. As you can see, this is the score altogether within the data sets. Of course, we have all unique values here. Now, we don't want to take everything in. What you want to do is copy and paste, and then we need to remove the duplicates. So in order to find the duplicates, we need to go into over here. I think it's around, in the data tab. And then over here, you will find the data tools, and then just click the middle one. It says remove duplicates. Continue with the current selections, and then it should remove everything. Now take this and then move it to the score section. The frequency. Now, what is the frequency? Technically, the frequency is how many times did that score appear within the data set itself. So what you want to do is technically put in the Excel formula of COUNTIF, and then the range is technically the original data sets. And then what you want to do next is get this. Take that. That's it, and it should count 1. As you can see in the data set itself, it says 118. So drag it all the way down. Drag it all the way down from here to there, and voila, it should count everything up. Now remember, on the bottom, to always sum everything up, all you can do is over here sum everything together. Just delete first. Delete this. So sum, it should count everything up. Okay, so x times by mean, frequency I mean. So you just take this, you click the x, and then times the frequency. And again, what you want to do is just drag it all the way down. Next up, the mean. As you can see, we haven't found out the mean yet. So the mean is just technically the average. So how to find the average? Of course, the equation will be the sum of this, right? The sum of this, technically. Sorry. It's technically this. The sum of the mean. Technically, we have already gathered up everything all together. This is technically the sum of the data sets. You will take this and then divide it by 65. You should get 136. Median. Next up, the median is technically the middle value. Of course, the reason why we organize this data set is to find the middle value. And as you can see, it's the 33. That is 137, right? As you can see, on the 33 range is 137. The mode, the frequent value that the frequent score that appears within the data sets. As you can see, it's right here. It says 12. So by default, it's just 132. Now the range of this is, of course, is just the difference of this. Technically, you take the biggest and then minus the smallest, and that's about it. Next up, the quartiles. In order to find the quartiles, all you need to do is, as you remember, it's the 1/4 of something. So it's like 1 divided by 4 times the frequency. This is the first frequency that you may see. So in order to find the location, you can go all the way here, count the position. Technically, this is just the position. Eventually, you will find somewhere around 125. So 1 plus 5 is equal 6, plus 5 is equal 11. As you can see, we're going all the way to the 17 range. So it's around here. So 125. Now the Q2 is just the middle. Of course, 65 divided by 2 is technically 32.5. And it's so easy that all you have to do is look at this, right? And eventually you'll find 137. Now again, that's just the score itself. But if you want to do this, we want to look at the frequencies itself. That is equal 1 divided by 2 times 65. Oh, sorry. Remove the and. Sorry, I made a mistake. Times 25. There you go. Now next up is the 1/3 of a quarter. Technically is equal 3/4. 3 divided by 4th times by 65. And you will eventually find the 48th. Now for the 48th location, of course, technically if you were to look over here, technically is 143. And voila, you should get everything. The IQR, of course, is just the range of the quartiles itself. So the biggest minus the smallest. And it should be 18. Now the variance, as you can see, is the mean, right? So what you want to do is just take the mean, right? Take the score and then minus the mean. Now remember to use the $sign in order to lock it in, so it doesn't move the sections, and you should get like that. And drag it all the way down, and then of course the x of mean minus mean is just take this and then square it up. And it should get like that. Voila. And then this, all you need to do is take the frequency. Take the frequency and then times it by this. And then it should be done. Now next up, just drag it all the way down. And voila. Now the variance is technically this section right here. The sum of this. So what you want to do is just copy this. You could type it in. Technically 999.94. Now the standard deviation, remember, is the square root of the variance. So all you need to do is SQRT, that means square root of this, and you should get 99.997. So with that, I would like to say thank you for watching my video. This is the overall summary of the lectures that we have been practicing, and with this I would like to say thank you once more for taking the time. Again, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.